Very good morning to all of you. The meeting is now under recording mode. First of all, before beginning today's class, let me congratulate everyone for getting good results in your fourth semester, and we have to keep up the good work in the coming semesters also. Okay, so see to it that you take your studies, academics quite seriously, and from here on it would be the core subjects which are important, and previous subjects were also important, but from here onwards the real electrical engineering starts. Okay, so see to it that you are going to have a better understanding of online classes, and see to it that you are going to work hard for the remaining semesters also. Okay, so without any further ado, I would like to start with today's class. Let me share the screen. Okay, now we were discussing regarding the properties of systems. Okay, so we were discussing regarding the properties of systems. Okay, so let me highlight the first thing what we discussed. Okay, so the initial one was the input signal. Either it might be in a continuous time domain or a discrete time domain, and you have an operator. Okay, once you have this operator, it might be any such system which has been modeled, and this will be the output of the system, that is y of t. Okay, so once we are talking about the properties of systems, first one which comes to our mind is the linearity property. Okay, so what do you mean by linearity? Okay, so that is one where you will be having the principle of superposition being employed, or generally it obeys the law of principle of superposition. Okay, so it's quite simple. Once you have the property of linearity, so where you will be having the proportionate increase of output with respect to the input there. So proportionately. Okay, proportional increase. Okay, when you have increase, definitely you will be having decrease also. So proportional variation, I can generally call it to be a variation with respect to the increase or decrease in the signal that is there, which is nothing but the input signal. Okay, so x of t. Okay, as I say that as soon as I keep on increasing, you will be having the proportionate increase, or generally on the other side if it is a decrease there. Okay, so you call such systems which obeys the principle of superposition to be linear in nature. Okay, I'll not take much time explaining the linearity property, where you will be having a signal like t of x of t. T is nothing but the operator again. So once you have x of t being replaced by the sum of two signals, okay, so the weighted sum of two signals, you will be having the linearity property being satisfied. If this property is satisfied, then you are calling the signal to be a linear signal, or a system which is represented, you can call the system to be linear in nature. So that is t of x2 of t. Okay, so if it obeys this one, which is t of x of t, where x of t is replaced by a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Okay, so now I am replacing x of t with this complete function here, which is the weighted sum of the inputs. Okay, so weighted sum of the inputs, it needs to carry some information, and it is the sum that is being employed here, right? So if it obeys, you are calling the system to be linear in nature. Now we know that the input output relation is nothing but the cause and the effect, right? So cause and the effect relation exists. We can generally represent it by a mathematical system, and you have the interconnection of signals being done there. Okay, so now we can have another one, which is nothing but the causality. Okay, so how we are going to define the causality of the system? Okay, very important property, causality, right? So you are calling the systems to be causal or non-causal. Okay, so now you are not saying it depends on the future values, right? You're not saying these are nothing but like what you have studied in your lower classes, like theorems, postulates, and so on. If you are going to follow this law, which I'm going to mention it, then you are calling the system to be causal in nature. Okay, so causal in nature. So what is the law, or what is the thing that is there where we can call the system to be causal in nature, right? So now a system is said to be causal in nature if the present value of the output, okay, I want to recall it, present value of the output depends on the present or past value, okay, present value of the system or past value of the system, or combination, okay, I repeat, combination of present and past values, you can say such system to be, okay, you can say such system to be causal in nature. Okay, I repeat, so the future values are not listed here, only the present value or the past value, I repeat, or the past value or the combination of present and the past values, right? So you call such system to be causal in nature. Okay, so what I can generally define here is either a discrete time system or a continuous time system. It depends only at a certain duration of time. So if I give at time, say t is equal to 2 hours there, right? So now at t is equal to 2 hours or t less than or equal to 2 hours, okay, so then what is the output of the system? If that is the nature which is to be followed, you can call the system to be causal in nature. So you are saying it to be causality. Causality is the effect, the causal nature is the signal effect there, right? So causal signal, okay, you are saying that to be a causal signal. For example, you might be having x of n. Definitely it depends on the present value, right? So if you give any value, for example, x of 2, right? So the y of 2, you're going to get that. So depending on the operator that you're going to perform, okay, operator that has been implemented, right? So again, you are going to give x of n minus 2, okay? So there you are going to call the system to be, again, it depends on the past value because it is a delayed signal, right? Delayed signal, okay, or a combination of the present and the past value, which is x of n plus x of n minus 2. Okay, this is the output of the system, right? So now you are saying the system is said to be again causal in nature. Okay, so this is a small revision that I'm doing, right? So you are saying the system to be causal in nature. Certainly all the physical system are said to be causal in nature. In whatever the problems that we come across, most of the problems will be causal in nature, and you are saying the physical systems that are existing in nature that are said to be also causal in nature, and you are going to call that as a non-anticipatory system. Okay, so the third one, which is time invariance. Okay, time invariance. Fine, so you are calling the time invariance. I repeat, in module 2, okay, so whatever the systems that we are going to discuss, where you are going to evaluate, it is called as a linear time invariant system. Linear time invariant system, okay, where you will be having the impulse response. I repeat, impulse response of a system. Can anyone just unmute themselves and tell me the mathematical way how you are going to represent the impulse response, delta of t? So its magnitude is said to be 1 at t is equal to 0, okay, and 0 when t is not equal to 0, okay. So this delta of t is said to be the impulse response in the continuous time domain, okay. So this is where you are going to represent it mathematically. So now coming to the time invariance, you are going to have it where the time delay or the time advance of the input signal, where it leads to the identical shift with respect to the output signal also. Okay, so identical shift in the input results in the identical shift in the output. Okay, so I'll write identical both the ways. You'll be having the identical input signal shift. identical input signal shift, okay, where you're going to have again the identical output signal shift. The shift might be an advanced signal or a delayed signal, identical output signal shift or shift in the output signal. So there you are going to call it. For example, you are going to have a shift, okay, you're going to have an advancement of the signal. In the same way, the output of the signal is also advanced, okay. So you're going to advance the duration of time by 2 units, right? So you're going to advance it by 2 units. So proportionately, you're going to have an advance in the output also. Then you are going to call the system to be a time invariant system, okay. So you are going to call the system to be a time invariant system, okay. So hope you are getting what I'm telling here. So then it is definitely called as a time invariant system. You are going to have an operator here. So depending on the operator, like what you are going to give for x of t or x of n. So if you change the time here, proportionately, there will be a change in the time across the output there. So you are going to call such systems to be a fixed system there, right? So where you are going to have the system being delayed or advanced, right? So either a delay or an advance. So proportionately, the system also gets adjusted with respect to its output there. So then we can call the system to be a time invariant system, okay? So that is one thing that you are going to remember that, right? So next one where we are going to discuss is the memory of the system, okay? So you might be studying the basics of microcontroller or any such programming languages that you come across. Memory plays an important role there, right? So where you are going to store it in terms of the data that is being presented, and here in terms of signal, memory plays a major role where it can recognize the previous value and give the output in the value that is being requested, or you are going to have the dynamic nature of the system, right? So any dynamic system is said to be having a memory there, right? So now a system which has its memory, which is the output, okay? So say output is y of t, at t is equal to t naught, it will be y of t naught there. So it depends on the input value other than the value which is being specified. What I want to mean here is, so I have x of t naught here, okay? So any values other than t naught, okay? Any values other than t naught, okay, where the output is dependent, okay? So the output is dependent for any values of t naught other than t naught. So you are going to say the system is said to be having a memory. Otherwise, the system is memoryless, okay? So a system has a memory if its output y of t naught at a time t naught depends on the input values other than x of t naught. Otherwise, the system is said to be memoryless, okay? So this is how you can define whether it is a memory or a memoryless system, okay? So a simple one where you are going to have an integrator and a differentiator, both are said to be having a memory. So simple one where you are going to have integrator, okay? So other than a prescribed value, other than the say value which is given, you are going to call the system to be an integrator. So you will be having an integral limit from 0 to tau there, right? So all the values which are being listed out, will be getting some values of the current or the voltage which is being there, and depending on its amplitude also. So there you are going to call the system to be having a memory, okay? So memory where other than the values, for example, I take at t is equal to 2 seconds, okay? If I take only at 2 seconds, it is said to be memoryless. Other than 2 seconds, right? So other than 2 seconds, if I get the value of the output signal, then you are going to call the system to be memory, okay? Hope you have got the point here. So this is said to be having a memory there. So y of t naught and x other than the values, okay? Other than, it might be any other values other than the values which has been prescribed there, right? So t naught, it might be any other value then you are going to call the system to be having a memory. So what do you generally mean by memory there? So I need to recall what I have studied in the previous semesters or the previous classes. So that is generally having a memory there. So you are having a memory, isn't it? So in the same manner, the signal is also holds good, right? So any output signal, output across the capacitor, current across the inductor, current through the inductor, okay, current which is flowing through the inductor, okay. So given any parameters of the electrical values, you are going to identify whether it is having a memory or not, okay. So that is one thing that you are going to hold. So what you can generally understand here is, I'm going to use the energy storage elements, okay. Energy storage elements are said to be memory. Memory signals are generally the memory components there, right? So you are going to categorize it as the memory components. So energy storage elements, for example, inductor and capacitor are said to be having a memory, okay. Similarly, the resistor is said to be a memoryless system. Why it is called as a memoryless system then? Why? Because the voltage, okay, so the voltage is depending on that value of the resistance there. Hope you are understanding. Only at that value of the resistance it is being dependent. That's the reason why you are going to call it as a constant there, right? So this is nothing but the constant, that is the resistor R. Then you are going to categorize the resistive element. Any element, any application which is only resistive in nature is said to be memoryless. Any signal which is applied to such a resistive element is said to be having a memoryless. Okay, the output of the signal, what I'm talking here, is said to be memoryless. Okay, so next one, what I wanted to mean there was where both the past and the present values of the input signal there, right? So it is not dependent on the past, but only dependent on the values which are being existing. So quite an important feature where you are going to have this stability nature, okay, stability nature of a signal, okay. Any signal is said to be stable once it has a preset value, okay. So a value which is generally being there. So if I give a value for x of 2, it gives the amplitude as 4, okay. So it is less than -1, that is having again -1, which is less than infinity, okay. So such values, it might be any such number which is less than infinity. Even if you take the modulus of it, it is less than infinity. You can say such systems to be stable in nature, okay. Such systems where you will be having the value of the output signal or the input signal, okay. So input signal, you have to verify whether it is stable or not. It is x of t. If I'll be having an amplitude somewhat like this, right? So any signal, if I trace it in such manners, okay, you will be having the upper limit and the lower limit there, right? So this is having a value, the value which is there. So once you are having the value, okay, so you are going to call it as, say, number, okay. So say number mx, and this is minus mx here, okay. So such systems where you will be having the values of the signal, say x of t, it is less than mx and less than or equal to, definitely. So it is mx might be any such values, the number within the limits for all the values of t, okay. The same thing holds good for x of n also, okay. Any such values of the number, say mx, okay, which is less than infinity, and the modulus of it, okay, any such number which is being represented, so it will be within the limits, okay. So this you are going to call it to be a x of t, okay. So it is bounded under a number, so such signals are called to be bounded input, okay. So such signals are called to be bounded input signals, okay. This is one important factor where you will be having the bounded input. BI refers to bounded input. Okay, hope you're getting. So in a similar manner, I can have bounded output also. Okay, I can have bounded output also. Okay, bounded output. So with respect to bounded input, okay, if I get the bounded output, you are going to call such systems to be stable in nature. So you are going to write it as BIBO stable. Okay, so BIBO refers to bounded input, bounded output. Okay, so bounded output, that is BO. So why I'm just splitting it up is just to make you understand. So any signal which is there, again y of t, if I want to write it, okay, so any signal that is being represented, so such signals where you will be having the amplitude nature well within the limits of infinity. Okay, so y of t is again the output of the signal where you are going to have my which is less than infinity. Okay, such signals you are going to call it as the bounded output signals. Okay, bounded output signal. Okay, so then you are going to call such systems to be stable in nature. Okay, so stable in nature. Okay, so you are going to have a number. Okay, so for x of t or x of n, so if it is well within the limits of a number, say mx less than infinity, so this one y of t, okay, which is well within the limits, my which is less than infinity, then you are going to call the system to be stable in nature. Okay, then you are going to call the system to be stable in nature. Okay, yeah. So these are quite few future features which are being there. So any signal, okay, so any signal which is generally proper signal or a system there, so it is to be well within the prescribed limits. Okay, so we are saying the system to be stable in nature, whatever the system that we design initially. So just to make you understand, so all the systems which are generally taken here in the numerical problems are said to be stable in nature. Okay, so I hope you have got all the properties of the system which we discussed right now, and we are going to solve two problems in today's class, and I'll be giving you two more problems where you can solve it on your own and do comment on the linearity nature, stability, time invariant, whether you have to guess whether it is a time variant or a time invariant, whether it is having a memory, whether it is causal in nature. Okay, so the question would appear like this on the properties of systems, on the properties of systems. Okay, where we are going to determine whether the given signal, whether the given signal or a system, okay, anything signal which is mentioned below, comment on first one, the well-known linearity property, second one, causal, okay, third one, what we have, time invariant, next one we are going to call it as memory. Okay, memory. Okay, next the last one, which is stable. Okay, whether you are going to consider the system to be linear in nature, causal, time invariant, memory, or it is having a memory, or you are going to call the system to be stable. Okay, so the given signal, okay, the given signal, you are going to have the signal x of t and y of t then. Okay, so x of t is the signal which is the input signal, and y of t is the output signal. So I am going to write y of t as e power x of t. I repeat, y of t is written as e power x of t. Okay, so it is not e power xt. I repeat, you will be making a lot of mistakes in this problem. Why I have taken this problem is just to make you understand, it is not xt. Okay, so it is e power x of t. Okay, whatever the input signal that is there, that is x of t here. Okay, input signal. So this is y of t, which is nothing but the output signal. Okay, so that is one thing that you are going to keep in mind. Okay, so let's start one by one. Okay, so let me start with the first property, that is linearity. We have to see, we have to check whether it is linear or not. So first thing what you have to keep in mind, again I'm writing down the signal, that is e power x of t. Okay, this is the given signal. Fine. So now I have to change for x of t. Okay, I have to change for x of t as a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, right? So I'm going to have this weighted sum of the inputs to this one, which is x of t, where y of t can be written as e power a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, right? So what you're going to have it according to the basic like the powers being split up, e power bx2 of t, right? So I can certainly say that, right? So t of x of t here. Okay, so if I want to apply, where I'll be having t of a x1 of t, as I already told you, it is similar to the function what I'm going to write it here. So this function here, I can replace it by a into x1 of t plus b into x2 of t, right? So now what it holds good there. So if it holds good, I'm going to write it as t of x1 of t plus b t of x2 of t. Okay, so then I can call the system to be linear in nature. Linear in nature. Okay, so then I'm going to call the system or a signal to be linear in nature. Otherwise, I cannot call the system to be linear in nature. It is a non-linear system. Okay, so it is not being followed here, right? So it is not being followed. You are going to have the sum of the signals being represented here, and here you are going to have the product of the signals there. So I want the sum here. Okay, so then I can certainly say that the system or sorry, the signal here, system or the signal, anything, so which is y of t, okay, that is e power x of t, is non-linear. Is non-linear. You have to write this. Okay, so you have to write this. Follow the steps what I'm writing. The same steps has to be repeated in your examination and also in your test also, right? So this given signal y of t equals e power x of t is non-linear because it doesn't follow the law of superposition, because it doesn't follow, okay, doesn't follow the law of superposition. Okay, so it doesn't follow the law of superposition. If you see it quite clearly, so if this holds good in the equation what I've written, then you are going to call the system to be linear in nature. Otherwise, that is the non-linear nature which has been exhibited by the system there. Okay, so next one, what you are going to see here is the time invariance. Okay, the time invariance. Okay, so what is the property that is there for the time invariance? Okay, proportionate increase in the input will lead to proportionate increase in the output there. So what do I need to do here? So because of time invariance, okay, proportionate, okay, so proportionate increase, okay, so what do I need to do? I need to have again y of t being written as e power x of t, right? So y of t equals e power x of t. So let me give any such advancements in the signal, say x of changing, okay, change t to t minus t naught, okay, change t to t minus t naught. Okay, x of, okay, the x of t will be changed to x of t minus t naught. Okay, so this x of t signal, which is the input, I can replace it with x of t minus t naught. What did I do here? I only changed t to t minus t naught, or you can do it as t plus t naught, not a problem. So any change in the signal there, so there you are going to have the proportionate change in the output. So y of t minus t naught. So when I give y of t minus t naught, again I have to give it as e power x t minus t naught. I'm changing the output signal here. Okay, so this is the input signal where I can write it to be y of t minus t naught. So y of t, again that t is being changed to t minus t naught. So what it results? It results back in the equation 1 itself. Okay, so where I can generally say that the given signal is said to be time invariant. The given signal is said to be time invariant. Time invariant. Okay, all the systems generally what we come across here is said to be time invariant itself. That's the reason I am specifying here. So you will be having the time delay or the time advancement of the input signal. So what I mentioned, identical shifts. Okay, so identical shifts is being observed here. Okay, so identical shifts in the input and output signal. Okay, input and output signal. Okay, then you are going to call the system to be time invariant. Okay, so that is one thing that you are going to remember now. So the next one, what we are going to observe here is the causal nature of it, right? So the causal nature of it, definitely. Okay, so you are going to say that the output, yeah. So how are you going to define the causal nature? Anyone? Causal nature. Anyone can unmute themselves and let me know how we are going to determine the causal nature. Okay, it doesn't depend on the future values. It does not depend on the future values. Does not depend.
So it depends on the present and
Exactly. What in the
past value.
yeah, exactly. But what is the other way that you can represent? I know that I give a value, right? And it has a previous values also. It depends on the present value and the previous value, okay? Or a combination of both present and the previous value, but it doesn't depend on the future values, okay? It doesn't depend on the future values, okay? It doesn't depend on the future values. For example, any future value that is being expected, right? So it doesn't depend there, isn't it? So you're going to give a time as 2 seconds. Only the output is dependent on the present values other than 2 seconds. Okay, so previous values that you are going to give. Okay, previous means the values which is less than 2 seconds, less than or equal to 2 seconds there, right? So then you are going to have the output of the signal being represented for the present values and the previous values. A delayed signal can be a representation of a causal system, right? So now what you can generally represent here is it that does not represent the future value of the system. Then you are going to call the system to be causal in nature. Okay, the given signal y of t, that is e power x of t, is said to be causal in nature. Causal in nature because it doesn't depend on the future values. Okay, you have to comment. Okay, each and every property of the system that you are going to analyze, you are going to comment it properly. Okay, so next we are done with linearity, time invariant, causal. So next, memory. Okay, memory. Fine. So now what you are going to say here, it doesn't depend on the future values, isn't it? So I don't know what is being there, and I don't know what would be the future and what would be the output depending on the input signal of the future values. Okay, so what I can generally mean here is it is memoryless. It is memoryless. It is memoryless because the value of the output signal depends on the input signal only. So what you can generally see here at causal, we verified it depends on the present value and the previous values of the input there, right? So now once you give the present value, you're going to have an output value which is there. Okay, so it is not going to have any such values which is being represented in the future, isn't it? Any such value which is being represented in the future is not going to have any idea what it represents, and then we can going to call such a system to be memoryless system. Okay, so the signal y of t, that would be equal to e power x of t. You are going to call the system to be memoryless. Okay, so this system, right? So it depends on the past values. Okay, so certainly we can say that it was being represented there. You can generally call the system to be having a memory. So here you are going to call the system to be memoryless. Okay, the output signal entirely depends on the input signal value only. So then you are going to call the system to be memoryless. Okay, so now, which is the stability. Okay, this stability. So
Sir, if it's causal, doesn't have memory, sir?
Yeah, causal. See, I'm telling you about the future values here. That's one of the nice observation that you have made. See, in causal system, you can say that it doesn't depend on the future values, isn't it? So what are the future values there? So I don't know. I'll give it t is equal to 2 seconds. I might seem that the time will be 3 seconds, 4 seconds, and 5 seconds. These are said to be the future values. So any value which is less than 2 seconds, like 1.5 or 1 second, okay, or 0.5 seconds, okay, any such value which is less than 2 system, then you can call the system to be causal in nature. So what you are going to understand here is, so the memory of a system is dependent on the present value there. Okay, so what I can generally see, it is said to be memoryless in this signal. Okay, depending on the signal which has been mentioned here, I give a value for x of t. Okay, x of t, it might be a signal x of t. Let me take t is equal to 2 seconds there. So it might give a value x of 2 that is equal to 1 there. Okay, so what it represents, e power 1. Okay, so that is y of 1. Okay, y of 2 there, sorry, y of 2. So you'll be getting some value as 2.718 there, isn't it? So now I need to have the memory of the system being analyzed here. So it is not over one entire range. Okay, it is not over one entire range here. So only at that value of the system you are going to analyze it. Okay, here it is x of t. Why I'm going to call this as a memoryless system? It is only on that value there. Only at that instant of time you are going to evaluate it. That is why it is called as a memoryless system. So once you are having the past values being present there, then you can call the system to be memory system. Okay, so otherwise it is called as a memoryless system. Any doubts? You can just we can have a discussion right now, not a problem. Is it Rahul that asked?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rahul. What you can observe here is I'm giving only the values here. Okay, only the values I'm giving here, and I'm checking whether it can have a memory. Okay, so whether it can have a memory or not. So it is not having memory, isn't it? So then you can call the system to be a memoryless system. But we cannot generally conclude whether all the causal systems are memoryless systems or something like that. So you have to check for the values there. Okay, then depending on the values that you are going to check, then you can call the system to be either memoryless or having a memory, or it is a causal nature or a non-causal nature system there. Then we can generally conclude it. Okay, so it is better that if you are applying, then we can call the systems to be based on the values that you are going to give them. Okay, and again, the signal what you are going to analyze. So stability nature, coming to the stability nature of it. So I have the input signal, say x of t, sorry, x of t is the input signal. So the value y of t is nothing but the output signal. Okay, so now any such values that you give, definitely it is less than infinity. Okay, any such values that you are going to give as less than infinity. So you are going to have a number where is less than my, any value of the number of the output signal. Then x of t, that is where you are going to give the number here, right? So x of t under modulo, definitely it is less than mx, it is less than infinity. Okay, then you can call the system to be stable in nature. Then you are going to call the system to be stable in nature. Okay, so this is how we can analyze whether the given system is linear in nature, or it is time invariant, or you are going to call it to be a causal nature. Memory, again, what he said was entirely correct. You have to analyze each and every property of the system. You cannot conclude directly there. Okay, you cannot conclude directly where you can call the causal system to be memoryless or something like that. You have to analyze the signal, then you have to come to know that whether the given signal is having memory or not. So the stability of the system is quite clear. So any value number where you are going to have the input and the output signal, there you are going to call the system to be a stable system or stable in nature. Okay, so this was for the exponential value of the input signal, that is y of t equals e power x of t. In the same way, I'm going to give you a problem where y of t is a differentiator operator on the input signal. So x of t, okay, so this is a differentiator, d by dt. Okay, yeah, so this is x of t, yes, that is y of t. So y of t would be the differentiator operator on x of t. That is going to be analyzed here. So that is y of t equals d by dt of x of t. You are going to verify whatever the systems or whatever the property that is being verified, that is linearity nature. Second one, the time invariance. The time invariance. Third one, the stability. Okay. Fourth one, the causal. And fifth one, what it is? It is the memory. Okay, memory. Fine. So you are going to verify it, and Kushal is there. Is Kushal there? Why don't you give a try, Kushal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why don't you give a try to this problem? Okay, so let me stop presenting. Yes. Just a moment. Okay, in the next class, we are going to have a few more problems that will be discussed. Meanwhile,